3 things that you can do to rapidly change your reality. Hello, my fellow flawless, limitless, sexy, sassy, saucy Hbics. How are you on this lovely morning, afternoon, or evening? How are you all? I hope you are all doing fabulous. I hope you are all choosing to be the versions of yourself that have your desire. I hope that's what you're doing. Poop over here, that's exactly what she's doing. I just want to quickly say, if you would like to work with me in any way, shape, or form, all of that information is in the drop box below, including how to connect with me on my other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Clapper, as well as my other YouTube channel called Kimberly's Other Life, which is my life outside of manifestation. So again, want to connect with me in any way, shape, or form, you want to work with me, or you'd like to join one of my 3 YouTube channel memberships where I go live with my channel memberships 3 times a week. And if you join my VIP Advanced Manifestors group where we deep dive manifestation, you have absolute access to all 3 of my memberships, as well as being the only group that has access to all 3 channel membership replays and recordings in case you miss a session or you just want to hear something over again. That group is the only group that gets that access. We also will have our random private live streams on YouTube. The memberships themselves, the sessions, they're on Zoom. But we will also have our random private, just us, advanced manifestors lives. Everything is in the drop box below. So in today's video, I'm going to give you 3 things, 3 tips that you can do to radically change your 3D reality, to quickly manifest whatever it is that you personally are manifesting. Number 1, conviction. Outside of the fact that when you are manifesting with whatever technique you personally choose, whether you prefer affirming, scripting, visualizing, that is you choosing to be a version of yourself. When you're saying your affirmations, all the techniques, all they're doing is getting you to utilize your imagination to move your state of being, your state of awareness. In other words, a version of yourself. Well, when we make that decision, for example, if you're manifesting a specific person, the idea is to become the version of yourself that is in the relationship with your specific person. When you've made that decision, when you are now aware that that's the goal, right? The wish fulfilled, you want to stand in conviction. You want to actually mean it. You want to know that I mean it this time. I'm standing with brazen impudence, as Neville Goddard says, conviction that I am my new self, or I am the version of myself that will have that manifestation, because it is done. Creation is finished. So technically, in another reality, you already got that manifestation, but it's standing in the conviction of having it. Number 2, detachment. Practicing the art of detachment. Now, I know that there's a mixed message on detachment. It can sound like I'm suggesting you let go of your manifestation. No. How would I ever ask such a stupid thing of you? To let go of your manifestation. How are you just going to stop thinking about what you're manifesting? I wouldn't be able to do that either. And when I would hear that word detachment, or even the phrase letting go, I would think that person is crazy to even suggest that. That's not something possible. How am I going to just stop thinking about my specific person? How am I supposed to stop thinking about manifesting money? I need the money. I got bills to pay, right? So I understand. That's not what I'm asking you to do. Detachment on my channel means nothing more than, I will not let 3D reality or any circumstance in it tell me who I am. As we are choosing to manifest, whatever it is we're manifesting, again, I'll use that SP manifestation. If you're manifesting a specific person, and if you're manifesting to be in a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship with your specific person, the idea is to stand in conviction that you are now that self, that you are now in the reality of you having the manifestation, or at minimum, will have, as in you are becoming that new self, right? Well, with the detachment, let's say you're experiencing a circumstance, and maybe that circumstance is that specific person is currently with a third party. That circumstance can be upsetting, very upsetting. And because we are naturally geared to think logically, for some of us, that might look like a circumstance is like it's an obstacle, like it could get in the way. So if specific person has a third party, logically, I'm not the self that has the relationship, right? Well, that's why we detach. We don't allow that circumstance, the circumstance of SP having a third party, tell us that we are not our new self. Instead, we choose to detach. We say, okay, I'm aware that that circumstance is there. I can accept that it's in my reality, but I know that I am choosing my new self. I am standing in conviction that I am my new self. And by new self, I simply mean the you that has it, that has the desire, the wish fulfilled. I am my new self. And I know that because I'm standing in conviction of this new self, I know reality will reflect who I'm being, because that's the job of reality, to reflect who we believe we are. And I believe I'm new self. So therefore, that circumstance doesn't mean diddly squat, and it will fall away. It will. And it, like literally, it will. A series of events will happen that will cause SP to drop 3P and come right on over to you. Just saying. Okay? So it is choosing to detach from reality, but you really mean it. When I say you're standing in conviction of it, you're really standing in conviction. You really mean it. It's a conscious thought that, like, I'm done. I am done with my old self. As Neville Goddard would say, I am letting the old man die. I am dying to my former self. I am my new self. Okay. Number 3. Letting go of crappy habits. Crappy old self habits. Let me give you an example. Back to the SP manifestation. Let's say you're manifesting that specific person, and specific person has a third party. You're aware of it. And you are attempting to do number 1, which was standing in conviction, as well as number 2, detaching from reality. And if that's the case, and if that's what you're consciously choosing to do, then being that we are making a decision to stand in conviction, notice I'm repeating these a lot. I'm hammering them home. If you're standing in conviction that you are your new self and you are choosing to detach from 3D reality, as in, I will not let 3D reality tell me who I am telling it, then there should be no reason that you are still doing old, crappy habits like your old self. And by crappy habits, let's say you have a habit of continuously checking SP's social media or 3P's social media. If you know that is something that you do just to see if they're still together or just to see who SP is talking to, maybe there is no official 3P in your reality. But maybe you get yourself upset and triggered if you see SP liking or hearting other people's, videos or content or posts. And you know you've been doing that. That's one of them crappy habits that needs to go. You are making a conscious decision to be a new self. So would your new self go stalk social media? I'm assuming you're going to answer that as a no. No, new self wouldn't need to do that because new self confidently, comfortably is in the awareness that they have the manifestation. So there would be no reason to hang on to old habits. What can be helpful in scenarios like this is to also take a look at what new habits you've started. What new habits? So I'm going to use an example. This came up in my channel membership today. That when I was making the conscious decision that I am my new self, it just so happens that the month before I came up with that line, that particular line, I used to say embody the state. They mean the same thing as choosing to be new self. But a month before that, I started working out. I had been inspired through inspired action to start working out every day. Well, 5 days a week. And I realized, hey, that's a new habit of my new self. I am choosing my new self. I am embodying the version of myself that is experiencing weight loss, that is experiencing having more energy, loving herself, loving her body. That came through inspired action. If you had ever truly encountered my very old self, the old self that was the new baby manifester years ago, that version of me loathed exercise, loathed it. I had been scripting to experience weight loss, and I'm still experiencing it. I started out at 300 pounds. I am now a little bit over 100 pounds down. Just saying. But it was a journey. Yeah? A manifestation journey. I was also, if it helps, I was also trying to break out of the cycle of the yo-yo dieting. That was something I did most of my adult life, and I wanted freedom from that cycle. So that's one of the things I was manifesting. Long story short, it led to me suddenly having an interest in working out. Not because I need to do this to lose weight. Nope. That to me sounds like a dieting cycle. But I realized, no, it's because I wanted to do it. It felt good to do it. I enjoyed doing it. I didn't want to take days off, but I know my body needs a little bit of rest. You know what I mean? But that's my point, is I noticed I was making changes. I was becoming a new self. A lot of the times we assume because we don't feel very different, or if we're having a bad day, we make the assumption that there's no way I could be in the wish fulfilled because I don't feel good today. Not true. You were being guided to be your new self all along. So take a look. Is there anything that you know that you are doing different? A new habit. Now, this is not me saying that you got to go out there and go work out to be new self. I'm just saying that while we are deciding that we are not going to take along our crappy old habits from old self, maybe you have not been aware yet that you have implemented something new in your life that you could look at as, hey, I am doing that. That is something I've changed about myself. Let's use that as the anchor, that reassurance, that reaffirming to yourself that I am new self. I actually am my new self. So therefore, if I know that and I'm aware of it and I have that anchor that I'm looking at, like I can look at the working out, that's the anchor of me becoming my new self. Well, then that must mean that reality is reflecting me. And that also must mean that everything I'm experiencing is leading me to my outcome, your manifestation. I'm going to say, I can't tell you how many times people have come to me for coaching and have taken the advice of standing in conviction in your decision that you are now your new self, as well as letting go of old crap habits. They get success. They get what they're manifesting. A common theme is they notice they feel a little bit different. And by feeling different, they're noticing that they're not responding to things that used to bother them the same. They're noticing a change, because how we respond to things in reality will change naturally as you become new self. See, it really does boil down to just make a decision and stand in it. It's just a decision. So let's wrap these back up. Number 1, conviction. Stand in conviction that you are now your new self. Number 2, detachment. Detach from that 3D. Don't let the 3D tell you who you are. You tell it. Number 3, let go of crap habits. If you're manifesting a specific person, the last place you should be is on the 3 Ps or even the SPs, social media. If you know that you're digging for dirt, you are automatically your old self. If you're still hanging on to habits like that, that's a very good chance why your reality doesn't look any different. It's amazing how a radical change of, I'm just not going to do this time, I'm not going to respond to reality the same, can bring change. I have an upcoming video of a success story of one of my beautiful Hbics I've been working with, and how quickly, and I mean quickly, less than a day or 2, rapid change in her specific person. Total success story. Total success story. And what did she do? She definitely did the 3 things that I suggested in her reality. She specifically let go of an old habit, an old way of responding to 3D when she wasn't getting what she wanted. And it brought about very swift change, lightning fast change. That video is set to be going up on Sunday, and if not, Monday for sure. Let me give you a bonus tip. When you're really attempting to embody being your new self, right? That's a phrase we get thrown around here. Embody the state. Be the new self. Simply start asking yourself, what if questions? What would it feel like to truly have your manifestation right in front of you? If you're manifesting an SP, what would it feel like to know your SP really is head over heels in love with you? What would it feel like if SP was sitting right next to you on this couch because you two are together? What would that feel like? What would it feel like if you're manifesting money? What would it feel like if you opened up your bank account app and saw $1 million sitting there? What would it feel like to know you never have to worry about paying bills ever again? And that if you want to go shopping at Chanel or Louis Vuitton, you can. What would that feel like? To be totally free, to spend your money the way you want, and still have a ton of it left over to do whatever you want with. What would that feel like? Manifesting specific person, what would it feel like to be fully embraced by your specific person? What if they proposed? What would your answer be? If you're manifesting marriage, what do you think it would feel like on your damn wedding day? How would it feel to be there standing, hearing the announcement of your names joined together? How would that feel? What would it feel like living with your specific person? Sleeping next to them every single night? Spooning each other? What would it feel like? What would a day in your life look like as your new self? You see, all of these questions, the actual feeling, that's not really what we're looking for, although those feelings can feel good. But what they're doing is getting you to get into your imagination, which is the powerhouse. Yeah, the imagination is, think of it like, that's like the phone connection between you and your higher self. Utilizing your imagination for the things you want instead of for the things you don't have yet. That's embodiment. That's being the new self. What really helped me as I was manifesting my loving, fulfilling, committed relationship with the love of my life, I really thought about like a YouTube vlog, right? There's plenty of YouTubers out there who put up daily vlogs or weekly vlogs. I thought about one of them, right? There was a YouTuber I used to like to watch, and she would put up weekly vlogs. So I used that as an idea of, all right, what would a week in my life look like? Or what would a day in my life look like if I was living with my man now, right now? What if I got to be safe and secure that I knew my man loved me the way I loved him? And that I was so confident and secure that I would always be in this magical relationship. That this was my forever person. But this was the version of me who could trust and believe that. What would a day in my life look like as a confident, secure woman? What would it feel like? What would it look like? What would I do first thing in the morning? What would my routine be? It got me to embody that new self. And not too shortly afterward, it's literally what I manifested. Literally. And now I do actually make those type of videos and put them on my other channel. So they manifested. And they'll manifest for you too. If you sincerely apply what I've listed in this video, there's no reason why you shouldn't be contacting me and telling me about your success story so I can make a video about it for you. So on that note, I'll see you tomorrow.